relieve the strain, hold the adjustment. This recording is made for chiropractic patients who want fewer visits, better results, lower costs, and ever more influence over their own recovery and over their future health. It is also made for consideration by other chiropractors and their patients, and was prompted by a chiropractic group called SOTO, S-O-T-O, the Sacro-Occipital Technique Organisation of Australasia, as part of its 1994 Winter Research Symposium.
Sacro-occipital means linking two bones, the sacrum and the occiput. The sacrum is the foundation bone at the bottom of the spine, about the size of your fist. It supports all the weight of the upper body and sits like a very limited slip axle between the two hips. The occiput is at the top end. It is the bone of the head that has the rockers that slide on the top neck bone atlas. A little later we will invite you to do some tiny movements to test whether you've twisted that axle and slipped off your rockers, and if you have, decide what you might want to do about it.
But for now, you might as well be comfortable. In fact, very comfortable while we are talking. So let's arrange that first by giving rest to one of the body's most overworked parts, the great connector, your neck.
Find a towel and roll it fairly firmly to make a cylinder shape of about 2 or 3 inches diameter, so that it can fit under the curve of your neck when lying on your back. Use some rubber bands or string to hold it together. If you already have your own fitted Chinese neck pillow, use that instead of the rolled towel, or if you have a peanut pillow that's not too big, use that. Now get a big blanket to cover you while you're lying on your back. This is important. At the level of comfort we are going for, relaxation is deep enough to slow the breathing and the heart, so that body temperature naturally drops. Keeping warm deepens the comfort further. Now slip off your shoes and glasses. Loosen collar, belt, underwear and any tight buttons.
Find a place on a carpeted floor near a lounge chair, sofa or ordinary chair. Perhaps you can use your hands on the chair to support you as you go down on one knee, then the other, then to hands and knees. Can you plan the easiest way to go from here to where you end up lying on your back with both legs supported on the chair? Do so and have your legs supported behind the knees, along the calves to the heels. Our legs make up about 30% of our body weight. It's deeply restful and calming to get them up like this for a while. Notice, if you will, how safe and well supported your back feels on the floor. Now take the rolled up towel or fitted Chinese pillow and place it under your neck.
Pause the tape if necessary till you get it just right. Closer to your shoulders than to the back of your head, which is called the occiput, that word again. You want to feel as if some of the weight of the head is taken by the support. If the support is too big, your occiput will not be touching the floor. If it's too small, you won't be able to feel the towel putting any pressure on the neck curve. However, if the neck support is too small, it will still be a good influence. If it is too big, it could be bad for you. So if in doubt, make it too small rather than too large.
If that is not comfortable, you may need to raise both neck and head an inch or two from the floor by putting another towel or even blanket, folded flat this time, and using it as a platform for both the rolled towel and the head. Take whatever time is necessary, like a good nurse caring for an injured patient. Find a comfortable way to position your arms. and notice where that turns out to be. Finally, check your major tension adjusters, eyes and jaw, and allow your mouth to open at least enough so that the teeth are not touching and the lips are soft. And allow yourself to blink regularly or lightly close your eyes.
Make any adjustments you may need from time to time, bringing perhaps one knee a little closer to the chest, or putting the feet a little further apart, or closer together.
We are partners with gravity now, rather than enemies, in a significant work called self-reorganization and healing.
Just lying like this, eyes and jaw relaxed, body supported, allows overworked muscles to relax, facilitates oiling of the vertebral joints, deepens breathing, allows bones to settle towards home position from sacrum to occiput, relieves the nervous system of proprioceptive noise, lightens the load on stretched tendons and stressed ligaments, slackens the twist of the tougher-than-canvas dura mater that wraps around our electricals, the brain and spinal cord, and helps to reshape a couple of dozen hydraulic shock-absorbing cushions called discs between our spinal bones.
Going to a chiropractor makes two things possible. Getting something done for your health that you can't do for yourself, and becoming able to do something for yourself that was previously impossible for you. What the chiropractor does, nobody does better. And more importantly, what you do for yourself, nobody does better. Because of pain or interference with your nervous system, you may have been discouraged and unable to do appropriate rest and recuperation procedures and simple strengthening exercise.
You are now employing the best beginning self-help strategy that we have witnessed in 26 years of practice. If you like the idea of holding your adjustment, needing fewer visits to the chiropractor, and therefore spending less money with him or her, and developing ever more influence over your own recovery and over your future health, this is a strategy worth experimenting with and worth persevering with. If you regularly do no more than this simple rest procedure for 15 to 20 minutes a time, you'll be doing a lot. If you haven't dropped off to sleep by now, you may be interested in our observations on a few matters related to recovery. If you have dropped off to sleep, we'll keep talking anyway. But we'll do it softly so as not to disturb you unduly. Those matters are surviving the glad-sad cycles, resting deeply, and knowing deeply. Going to a chiropractor has its ups and downs. Feeling good and rejoicing for the improvement, feeling bad and grieving for the relapse. So it's probably worth mentioning here a main danger to ordinary recovery. It's a state of mind sometimes called the glad-sad cycle. It's an alternation of becoming encouraged and discouraged. At ordinary levels, it's just another cycle, another part of life, and is controlled by thinking realistically. If uncontrolled, it can become more a cyclone than a cycle. As chiropractors, the cyclone warning is a fateful word and fateful attitude. The word is always. When we begin to feel a little better, it's easy to say, "This is how I am, it's natural, I'll always feel this way." Wrong. When we relapse, it's easy to say, "This is how I am, I'm doomed, I'll always feel this way." Wrong again. We cannot recover and survive if we only trust our feelings. We also need good knowledge and good thinking. We need to replace the word always with the more accurate and truthful word sometimes. I will sometimes feel this well. I will sometimes feel this badly. Many good recoveries have crashed on that one word always. Many difficult recoveries have been saved by the word sometimes. 6 steps forward and 5 steps back is still progress. Learning when and how we slip back can be most important information.
Resting deeply was the secret of success for a determined man I'll call Cecil Thomas, who staggered painfully up the stairs and into
how we slip back can be most important information.
Resting deeply was the secret of success for a determined man I'll call Cecil Thomas, who staggered painfully up the stairs and into our office about 25 years ago looking for help for his knee pain. Examination of his x-rays made 2 things obvious to me. Ordinary spinal misalignments, capable of being reduced by ordinary chiropractic procedures, and extraordinary osteoarthritis and a wicked spinal curve distortion. In reporting the results to him, I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas. The job looks too hard. Any relief you received here would vanish within a day." "Well, even brief relief would be better than none," he said. "I don't think so. Relief followed by relapse is depressing." "I'm already depressed. I'm 72. I've been retired 7 years, and I do nothing. Just a walk from lounge room to kitchen is a marathon for me. If you can relieve it for a little while, there must be something I can do to make it last. Anything. Give me a go. Give me a go. I'll do whatever it takes." This man was motivated, irresistibly. I said, "Okay, I'll give you a 1-month trial. If by then you're holding your adjustment for a week, we'll see about going further. If you're not, you've wasted your money." "What's that, holding the adjustment? And how can I do it?" Holding the adjustment means making some progress, becoming less severely subluxated over a number of visits, going 3 steps forward and two steps back perhaps, but being on the right track. "Okay, and what have I got to do?" "The Chinese pillow, at least 3 times a day, 20 minutes at a time." "You're on. No worries." A few days later he came back for his next visit and said he was a bit better, probably. I was surprised, thinking an hour or 2 would have been as much relief as he would get in his condition. He was smiling just a little bit, not much, like a poker player after a good but small stake game. And it seemed like a distinctly "I told you so" look in his eye. I was embarrassed. The prophet whose prophecy had been proved wrong. I gave him no adjustment that day, just my congratulations. The next visit was more of the same. He was limping less and smiling more. More triumph for him, more feeling foolish for me. I said, "You've got to be doing something right, but I can't guess what it might be." He said, "Well, you ought to. It's that Chinese pillow. 3 times a day, 20 minutes a time. Yeah, and you can add a bit. A bit. Yeah, I'm doing it about 3 or 4 hours a day. My family reckons I'm senile. 3 or 4 hours a day. Yeah, at least 6 to 10 times a day, often for more than 20 minutes. Before, I was in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What did I have to lose? I was useless to everybody, especially myself." He kept checking back, but less and less frequently as his improvement continued. He did need a few further adjustments that year, but fewer and fewer. When he got out to 6 months between visits, he reported, "I got off the train at North Wollongong today and stopped by at my sister's for a cup of tea." "Why are you telling me about cups of tea, Cecil?" "Because after the cup of tea, I walked the rest of the way to your office. That'd be about 2 miles, I reckon." At his last visit here, he reported he had resumed an old hobby, collecting seashells, and walked about 5 miles a day along the local beaches. He thanked me for the help he'd received. He said he no longer spent as much time on his Chinese pillow, perhaps 3 times on an average day, and an occasional extra session if he thought he needed it. I thanked him for the lesson he'd taught me, never to underestimate the motivated self-helper. A couple of years later, one of the people he'd referred told me he'd made the papers with a story about throwing his house open to the public for an exhibition of his seashell collection. Well, that was 25 years ago. Nowadays, I hardly ever think of him. Much. Except every time I see a new patient, or question someone on their rest procedures. And if anyone ever says, "Give me a go, I'll do whatever it takes," I get a bit tearful and think, you probably will. Because some people walk all over statistics, from North Wollongong Beach to Taraji and back again.
So much for the glad, sad cycle and resting deeply. On the matter of knowing deeply, we recommend Feldenkrais Awareness Through Movement lessons. In his excellent book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey quotes Thoreau thus: "How can we remember our ignorance, which our growth requires, when we are using our knowledge all the time?" Feldenkrais Awareness Through Movement lessons are a way of moving in order to learn how we are using ourselves. There are thousands of Awareness Through Movement lessons and hundreds of Feldenkrais teachers throughout Australia with their own ways of teaching them. Good luck on your healing journey. Good luck in becoming who and how you want to be.